I usually don't ask this early, but if you could like the video and subscribe, it would mean a lot. We're so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, and your support can really help get my content out there. Thanks, g'day everyone. Today I've got a story that will leave you on the edge of your seat, an intense, deeply personal account of betrayal, revenge, and heartache. It's the tale of Jack Harrison, his wife Samantha, and his best mate Liam. What started as a seemingly ordinary friendship spiraled into an affair that ended in shocking fashion when Jack exposed them both. But the way Jack got his revenge? You won't believe it until you hear every detail. Sit back and listen closely as we unravel how Jack's world fell apart, only to rise from the ashes stronger than ever. Jack Harrison had always considered himself a lucky man. At 35, he was living the Australian dream, working as a construction manager in Sydney with a thriving career, a beautiful home, and a loving wife of 10 years. Jack and Samantha, Sam, as she was known to everyone, had met in their mid-20s at a friend's party. It was one of those love-at-first-sight moments where Jack felt an instant connection. Sam, a fitness instructor, had that kind of infectious energy that lit up every room she walked into. She was charming, fun-loving, and compassionate, a perfect complement to Jack's more grounded, laid-back personality. For the most part, life was good. Jack spent his days managing big construction projects while Sam worked with clients, helping them achieve their fitness goals. In their free time, they enjoyed outdoor activities together, hiking, surfing, and having barbecues with their close-knit group of friends. Their bond was something Jack had always believed was unshakable. He trusted Sam implicitly. After all, they'd been through thick and thin, supported each other through job losses, financial struggles, and the death of Jack's father a few years back. But things were about to take a dark turn in Jack's life, one that would unravel everything he thought he knew about love, loyalty, and friendship. Liam Thompson had been one of Jack's best mates back in high school. They were inseparable growing up, causing mischief, chasing after girls, and talking about their dreams for the future. But after high school, life had taken them in different directions. Liam moved to Melbourne to pursue a degree in computer science, eventually landing a job that took him abroad for several years. It had been over a decade since Jack and Liam had seen each other in person when, out of the blue, Jack received a message on Facebook. It was Liam. He was moving back to Sydney and looking to reconnect with old mates. Jack was thrilled to hear from him. It felt like a blast from the past, and he was eager to have his old friend back in his life. Liam returned to Sydney just a few weeks later, and Jack invited him over for dinner with Sam. They talked for hours about old memories, laughed over beers, and quickly rekindled their friendship. Jack felt that familiar bond with Liam, like they'd never been apart. From that point forward, Liam became a regular fixture in their lives. He would come over for barbecues, join them for hikes, and often stay late into the night talking with Jack about everything from work to personal struggles. Sam seemed to like Liam, too. She had always been friendly and outgoing, and it was no surprise that she welcomed Liam with open arms. But as the weeks went by, Jack began to notice things that didn't quite sit right. At first, the signs were subtle, so subtle that Jack dismissed them. It started with harmless jokes between Sam and Liam. They seemed to have their own inside jokes, laughing about things Jack didn't quite understand. Then there were the lingering glances. Jack would catch them locking eyes for just a moment too long. But when he looked their way, they quickly looked away as if nothing had happened. One night, Jack and Sam were hosting a barbecue with a few friends. As the night wore on and the drinks flowed, Jack couldn't help but notice how often Sam and Liam were in each other's company. They were standing close, laughing at each other's jokes, and even exchanging playful touches on the arm. Jack's stomach tightened. He told himself he was being paranoid, that they were just getting along well because Liam was an old friend. But that gnawing feeling in his gut wouldn't go away. The final straw came a few weeks later. Jack had come home earlier than expected, one evening after his shift was cut short. As he walked into the house, he heard soft laughter coming from the living room. Sam was sitting on the couch, her phone in hand, smiling at something she was typing. She didn't notice Jack had entered the room. "Who are you texting?" Jack asked, trying to keep his voice casual. Sam jumped, startled by his sudden presence. She quickly locked her phone and flashed him a nervous smile. "Just a friend from the gym," she said quickly. But Jack saw the flicker of guilt in her eyes. His suspicions deepened. From that moment on, Jack became more vigilant. He started paying closer attention to Sam's behavior, how often she was texting, how frequently she mentioned going to the gym or meeting up with friends. She seemed distracted, distant, and was spending more time away from home. And then there was Liam. He was still coming around regularly, but now Jack noticed the way Liam would avoid eye contact with him. It was subtle, but Liam was acting strange, quieter, more reserved. Jack's gut told him something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it yet. Jack's suspicions came to a head one Saturday afternoon. Sam had gone to a yoga retreat for the weekend with some of her fitness clients, leaving Jack alone at home. While she was gone, Jack received a text from Liam asking if he wanted to grab a beer and catch up, but Jack had other plans. That gnawing feeling in his gut had reached its peak, and he decided it was time to take action. He needed to know if his suspicions were real or if he was just being paranoid. So while Sam was away, Jack accessed her laptop, a device they both shared. He knew she had synced her phone to the computer a few months back, and maybe, just maybe, there were traces of her messages on the device. Jack felt a knot tighten in his chest as he navigated to the messaging app. He wasn't sure what he'd find, but he was bracing himself for the worst. When the app opened, Jack's heart stopped. There it was, a string of text messages between Sam and Liam. His worst fears were confirmed. Jack's hands trembled as he scrolled through the messages. They were explicit, filled with details of secret meetups, late-night confessions, and promises to each other. It wasn't just a fling. It had been going on for nearly a year. There were photos, flirtatious banter, and most damning of all, declarations of love. "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe," Liam had written in one message. "I miss you so much." Jack's stomach churned with rage and disgust. These were the two people he trusted the most in the world, his wife and his best mate, and they had been betraying him behind his back for months. He had been blind, naive, and now it was all crashing down. But instead of confronting them immediately, Jack took a deep breath. He knew what he had to do. He was going to expose them in a way that would leave them no room to hide. Jack spent the next few days meticulously gathering evidence. He printed out every incriminating message, every photo, and every declaration of love between Sam and Liam. He documented everything, making sure that when the time came, he would be fully prepared. But Jack didn't want to just confront them in private. No, that would be too easy for them. They had humiliated him, deceived him, and shattered his trust. He wanted them to feel the full weight of their betrayal. He wanted their world to come crashing down the way his had. That's when Jack came up with the plan. He decided to host a neighborhood barbecue, the kind of gathering where all their friends and neighbors would be present. It would be the perfect stage for what was about to unfold. The day of the barbecue arrived. Jack acted as if nothing was wrong. He greeted guests with a smile, grilled burgers and sausages, and made small talk. Sam, oblivious to what was coming, was her usual charming self, chatting with their friends and laughing like everything was normal. Liam arrived late, looking slightly uneasy, but Jack greeted him warmly. It was all part of the act. Jack had planned every detail, and now it was time for the final act of his revenge. As the evening wore on and the drinks flowed, Jack gathered everyone around the patio for what he called a little surprise. Sam looked at him curiously, not knowing what to expect. Liam shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Jack cleared his throat and said, You know, it's been great having everyone here tonight. It's nice to have all our friends and neighbors together. He paused, locking eyes with Sam and then with Liam. But there's something I need to share with you all. He reached into his bag and pulled out the thick stack of printed messages. Sam's eyes widened and Liam's face went pale. "These," Jack said, holding up the papers, "are the secret messages between my wife Sam and my best mate Liam. They've been having an affair for nearly a year now, right under my nose." The crowd went silent. Gasps of shock filled the air as Jack began reading aloud some of the most damning messages. "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. Jack's working late, right?" Jack read aloud, his voice steady despite the anger boiling inside him. "That's from Liam to my wife?" Sam looked like she had been punched in the gut. She stammered, "Jack, I can explain—" But Jack cut her off. "There's nothing to explain, Sam. The proof is right here. You've been lying to me for nearly a year, sneaking around behind my back with my best mate." Liam tried to interject. "Jack, mate, I'm so sorry. Don't call me mate," Jack snapped. "You're no friend of mine. You're a liar and a coward." Jack handed out copies of the messages to their friends and neighbors. There was no escaping the truth now. Sam and Liam were exposed for the cheats they were, and their reputations were destroyed in front of everyone. The fallout was swift and brutal. Sam and Jack's marriage ended in divorce, and Liam was excommunicated from their social circle. No one wanted anything to do with him after what he had done. Jack moved on, stronger than ever, but not without scars. He had learned a hard lesson about trust and betrayal, and it had changed him forever. And that, my friends, is how Jack turned the tables on his wife and best friend in the most devastating way possible. What would you have done if you were in Jack's shoes? How would you handle such a betrayal? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories just like this. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay strong.